I always thought the back alley behind May's saloon smelled like trouble, whiskey, old wood, dust and sweat, and something sour that never quite washed out. That night, trouble was not just a smell. It had my arm. "Now, darlin'," Dawson crooned, fingers digging into my wrist. "We's not finished talkin'." My back hit the rough brick wall. The stacked crates beside me rattled. The saloon's music drifted thin through the back door behind him. Fiddles and laughter muffled, like they belonged to a different world. "Let go," I said. My voice came out a lot smaller than I wanted. His grin widened. His teeth flashed pale in the dim light. Pike and Harlan flanked him, blocking the narrow alley, their boots planted, hands resting near their guns, like this was just another game. "Nah," Dawson said. "See, you been pretendin' you are better than us, pourin' drinks, smiling sweet, too good to sit on my lap." His grip tightened. "Tonight, we fix that." My breath caught. I tried to yank my arm back. He slammed his other hand against the wall by my head. "Wait!" The word broke out of me. No one inside could hear. The piano drowned everything. Laughter swelled. Glass clinked. I should not have gone out the back door alone. May had warned me. I would needed air. Just 1 minute, 1 breath. And now, here I was, cornered. My heart hammered so hard, I could hear it in my ears. "Dawson, do not. Come on, Clara." His breath smelled like cheap whiskey and power. "You know what happens to girls who say no too many times." He leaned closer. "They stop getting asked." Pike chuckled low. Harlan shifted, looking bored, like this was just another show. Panic crawled up my throat. I cannot do this again. Not again. Not with men like this. Not with anyone. "Let go," I whispered. "Please." He just laughed. Then, footsteps. Slow, steady. Coming up the alley, quiet as a thought. Dawson's head turned. Pike's smile faded. Harlan straightened. The man who walked out of the shadows wore a plain brown coat and a dark hat pulled low. Dust clung to his boots, like he would been riding hard. A worn gun belt sat at his hips, but his hands were empty. He did not posture, did not puff his chest, just walked. Like he would decided to be here, and the world had moved out of his way. He stopped a few feet from Dawson. "I would take your hand off her," the stranger said quietly, "before I do it for you." His voice was low, calm, dangerous in the softest way. Dawson barked a laugh and did not move. "Who the hell are you?" Pike called out. The stranger's eyes flicked to him once, just once. Pike went still. He looked back at Dawson. "I said she is done," the stranger murmured. "Let her go." Dawson shifted his weight, trying to stand taller. "You do not know who you are talking to, friend." The man stepped closer. The lamplight caught his face, strong jaw, a day's worth of stubble, eyes dark and steady, not wild, not reckless. "Just sure." He came to stand between us, turning so he was facing Dawson, but his shoulder blocked most of mine. His presence is a wall, a warm, solid wall. He did not raise his voice. "She is under my protection now." The alley went quiet. Even the muffled piano inside sounded farther away. Dawson's fingers twitched around my wrist. His eyes narrowed. "You her husband or something?" "No." "Kin?" "No." "Then what gives you—" The man took one more step forward. For the first time tonight, Dawson moved back half an inch. The stranger's voice dropped lower, almost a whisper. "You do not need a reason," he said, "to stand between a woman and a pack of cowards." My breath caught. He turned his head slightly, just enough that I could see the edge of his profile. "You are safe with me," he said softly. I did not know his name, did not know where he was from, did not know if he would win this. But when he said those words, something inside me, tight and small and exhausted, flinched like it wanted to believe him. Dawson scoffed, but his grip loosened the tiniest bit. "You think you can walk into my town and—" "It is not your town," the stranger said. "It is just where you make a mess." Pike took a step forward. "You got a death wish, mister." The stranger did not look at him. His attention stayed fixed on Dawson. "Ask me again," he murmured. "See what happens." His hand slid to rest casually near his gun. Casual, but ready. My pulse thundered. He is outnumbered. 3-1. 4, if you count the sheriff, who always looks the other way when Dawson's involved. Dawson swallowed once. He tried to cover it with a smirk. "Relax," he muttered to his men. "Fella's just blowin' smoke." He turned back to me, like the stranger was not even there. That was his mistake. In one smooth motion, the stranger's hand came up. He wrapped his fingers around Dawson's wrist, firm, controlled, and peeled it away from my skin. He did not squeeze, did not twist, just held. Dawson's eyes widened. "You are making a mistake, friend." The stranger stepped sideways, putting himself fully between us, my body shielded behind his broad back. He spoke without looking at me, but somehow his words wrapped around me like a coat. "Stay behind me," he murmured low. My voice trembled. "Okay." Harlan's hand dropped to his holster. "He is not worth a dead sheriff," Pike muttered. "Sheriff Briggs is not here," Dawson said. "I am." The stranger's hand moved, barely, just a shift of weight. His shoulders stayed relaxed. "You can walk away," he said, "or you can draw." He paused, letting the words hang. "But if you draw, I finish this." Dawson searched his face, tried to find fear. I could see it, how he flicked his gaze from the stranger's eyes to his hand, to his stance. He found nothing. The stranger was still, like a river that looks calm on the top, but has a current underneath that can pull you under. Pike was the first to crack. "Not worth it, Dawes," he muttered. "She is not the only girl in this town." Something ugly flashed across Dawson's face. He wrenched his wrist back and spat at the ground near the stranger's boots. "This is not over," he hissed. "You just bought yourself a heap of trouble." He jerked his head. "Come on, boys." They brushed past us, boots kicking dust. Pike shot me a half-apologetic look. Harlan did not look at me at all. Dawson kept his eyes on the stranger until they hit the end of the alley and disappeared into the main street light. Silence followed in their wake. The stranger did not move. His body stayed angled between me and where they would gone, as if Dawson could spin around and charge back at any second. Then he exhaled. The tension in his shoulders shifted, not gone, but eased. He turned slowly, facing me for the first time. "You all right?" he asked. Now that the danger had passed, my legs finally remembered how to shake. I leaned back against the wall. My breath caught. I managed a nod. "I think so." He looked at my wrist. "He hurt you," It is fine. His gaze stayed on it. Can I see? I hesitated, then lifted my arm. His fingers brushed my skin with a gentleness that undid me. The red marks from Dawson's grip stood out clear in the lantern light. The stranger's jaw tightened. That is not fine, he murmured. I swallowed. It is nothing I have not had before. His eyes flipped up to mine, sharp and searching. That is not the comfort you think it is, he said quietly. My chest squeezed. He let go of my wrist, like it was made of glass. I am sorry, he said, that they did that anyone did. My voice went soft. Thank you for stepping in. He dipped his head, like that kind of thanks made him uncomfortable. Somebody had to. Well, nobody ever did before. He studied me like he was filing that away. I am Cole, he said finally. Cole Mercer. Clara. I swallowed again. Clara Hayes. He nodded once. You got someone to walk you home, Clara? Home. I almost laughed. I sleep in a room above the saloon. Sheriff turns his face when men like Dawson pull me into corners. May does what she can, but she cannot fight bullets with whiskey and a bar rag. Not really, I whispered. He heard more in those 2 words than most men heard in a whole conversation. All right, he said quietly. You do not have to run alone anymore. My throat tightened. He held out a hand. Come on, I will see you safe inside. I stared at his hand for a moment. It was rough, work-worn, the kind of hand that knew fences and rains and mending and bruises. Slowly, I took it. It closed around mine like a promise. Cole did not let go of my hand until we reached the back stairs that led up over May's saloon. Light spilled from the windows above. May's laugh drifted through the open door downstairs. He looked up at the building and back at me. You feel safe there? He asked. My breath faltered. He watched my face. You do not, he said softly. It is okay, I muttered. May's kind. She gives me work, a place to sleep. That is not what I asked. I pressed my hand to the rail. This is the only place I have. He scanned the shadows, the alley mouth, the street. They would be back, he said. I knew he was right. Dawson did not like being told no. And he sure did not like being made to look foolish in front of a stranger. Panic pressed against my ribs again. Then I will leave, I whispered. I will go before they come back. I have run before. His eyes narrowed. Run where? Does it matter? It matters, he said. A woman alone on the road with men like that behind her. It matters a lot. He is right. I know he is right. But what else am I supposed to do? Stay and let them corner me every night till they take what they want. Sharp inhale slit from me. Cole watched me wrestle with it. You gonna horse? He asked. No. Any family out here? No. You got anyone? His voice softened. Anyone at all you can go to in this territory? I shook my head. His jaw flexed. You do not have to answer this, he said. But what brought you here, Clara? I let my hand fall from the rail. An engagement, I said quietly, to a man my father chose, in another town. He was not who he pretended to be. His gaze held steady. He was charming when people were watching, cruel when they were not. I thought I could endure it. I thought that is what a good daughter did. My throat burned. The night I saw him strike a girl in the street for bumping his shoulder, I realized if I stayed, that would be me. I swallowed hard, so I ran. I got on the first stagecoach with any empty seat and ended up here. Cole's eyes darkened, but not with anger at me. That fiancé got a name? He asked. Elias Ward. Something flickered across his face. Recognition. Maybe, maybe not. You think he will come lookin'? Cole asked. He does not like losing things he thinks belong to him. Including people, Cole murmured. I nodded. He looked at the stairs again, then at me. You are not safe here, he said. Not from Dawson, not from men like that. His voice lowered. Maybe not from this fiancé of yours, if he is mean enough and rich enough to go huntin' what he thinks he lost. Fear twisted in my gut. What choice do I have? I whispered. He studied me for a long second. Then, come with me. My breath caught. What? I have got a place out past the ridge, he said. Small cabin, some horses, a barn. It is quiet. Too quiet, most days. His mouth quirked just slightly. You can stay there till you figure what you want. Till we know if Dawson's gonna crawl back out of his hole. Till we know if this Elias really is the kind of man who sends trouble after you. I cannot, I stammered. I barely know you. He nodded. Fair. He did not look offended. Just patient. You know I stepped between you and 3 armed men tonight, he said softly. You know I did not ask for anything for it. I swallowed. You know I looked at your wrist and got mad about bruises that were not on my skin. My eyes stung. You know I am willing to stand with my back to you and my face to your enemies, he murmured. That is more than you know about most of the folks in there. He tipped his head toward the saloon. You are safe with me. The words from earlier echoed in my mind. I do not want to be a burden, I whispered. His voice dropped low. You are not a burden, he said. You are a person who has been hurt and is still standin'. There is a difference. My breath trembled. He stepped a little closer. You do not have to run alone anymore, he said again. Something inside me broke on that line. Tears spilled over. He stiffened, then relaxed, like he would been ready to fight, and realized this was a different kind of battle. Hey, he murmured. It is okay. No, it is not, I whispered. I am tired. I am tired of being scared. I am tired of looking over my shoulder. I am tired of men thinking they own the world and everything in it. He nodded once. I know. My voice shook harder. And I am tired of trusting the wrong ones. He inhaled quietly. He did not flinch, did not defend himself, did not ask me to trust him. He just said, that makes sense. I blinked. You are allowed to take your time on trust, he added. I will still offer you a safer bed, whether you trust me today or in a week or not at all. His eyes softened. I am here. I am not going anywhere. He held out his hand again. Come with me, Clara, he said quietly. Let me get you out of this alley at least. My heart pounded against my ribs. Go back upstairs. face Dawsoned tomorrow. Hope Sheriff Briggs suddenly grew a spine, or take the hand of a quiet stranger who would step between me and danger when no one else ever had. You do not have to run alone anymore. I took a sharp breath and put my hand in his. He squeezed once. I have got you, he murmured. We walked out of town under the watching eyes of a few late-night stragglers and the yellow glow of street lamps. May caught my gaze through the front window, eyes wide, cloth frozen mid-wipe. I gave her the smallest nod. She relaxed, just a little. Cole's horse waited at the hitching post, tall, dark, with a white blaze down his nose. The animal lifted his head and snorted softly when Cole approached. "Easy, Ranger," Cole murmured, running a hand down the horse's neck. "We got company tonight." He turned to me. "You ever ride double?" "Once," I said, "when I was a girl." He nodded. "You will ride in front. Easier that way." He put his hands around my waist, lifting me up like I weighed nothing, settling me carefully into the saddle. My breath hitched a sudden closeness. He noticed. "You are shaking," he said gently. "So are you," I whispered. He grunted softly. "Fair enough." He swung up behind me, one arm coming around to take the reins, the other bracing lightly near my hip, his chest pressed against my back, solid and warm. My heart tripped over itself. "You okay?" he asked softly, his breath warm against my ear. "I think so," I managed. "Lean back," he murmured. "Makes it easier on your balance." I swallowed and did as he said. His chest became my anchor, his arm a band of steady heat at my sides. Ranger shifted beneath us, eager to move. "Stay with me," Cole said quietly. "I am not going anywhere," I whispered. And for the first time in a long time, I almost believed myself. The ride out of town was a blur of dust and night, and the steady rhythm of Ranger's hooves. Cole kept us off the main road, cutting behind the ridge, skirting the dry creek bed, following paths only someone who knew this land by heart would find in the dark. The sky stretched out wide overhead, scattered with stars. Crickets sang their steady chorus. Every once in a while, an owl hooted low. His arms stayed firm around me. My head tipped back slightly, brushing his shoulder. I could feel his breath near my temple, slow and measured, like he was deliberately keeping calm for both of us. "You still shaking?" he asked after a while. "A little. Just keep breathing," he murmured. "Match mine." I tried. In, out, with him. By the time we reached the edge of his land, my heartbeat had settled into something almost steady. We crested a small rise, and there it was, a simple cabin tucked into a stand of scrubby trees, a barn sitting a little ways off, a small corral with another horse watching us with mild interest. A lantern burned in the cabin window. "You live alone?" I asked. "Yeah." I hesitated. "No family?" He was quiet for a long beat. "Had a brother," he said finally. "Once. Not has." I did not press. We rode up to the cabin, and he swung down first, then reached up for me. "Slide," he said softly. "I have got you." I let myself tip into his arms. He caught me easily, holding me close as he set me gently on my feet. My breath caught. He was closer than he would been in the alley, closer than on the horse. Lantern light from the cabin window painted the angles of his face in gold and shadow. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then he cleared his throat and stepped back, giving me space. "I will stable ranger," he said low. "You can go on in. Door's unlocked." I swallowed. "Okay. Clara? Yeah? You are safe with me," he said again. "If anything in there makes you uncomfortable, you call my name. I come running." A soft, shaky exhale left me. "All right," I whispered. The inside of his cabin was simple: table, 2 chairs, iron stove, a shelf with a few carefully kept books, a worn coat hanging by the door, a bed tucked into the back corner under a quilt that had seen better days but was neatly made. It smelled like wood smoke and coffee and leather. It smelled like him, not like the saloon, not like stale whiskey and sweat and men leaning too close. I wrapped my arms around myself, feeling suddenly exposed. The door opened quietly behind me. "You all right?" he asked. I nodded. "It is nice." He set his hat on a hook, his movements unhurried. "I have got some stew left from earlier," he said. "Is not fancy, but it will put something in your stomach. You do not have to." He gave me a look, just one. "I know I do not have to," he said. "I am offering." My cheeks warmed. "Thank you." He spooned stew into a bowl, set it on the table, slid a spoon toward me. "Eat," he murmured. "Then we will talk about what comes next." I sat slowly. My hands shook just enough that the spoon rattled against the bowl. He noticed, but did not call it out. He poured coffee for himself, sat across from me, elbows on his knees, cup cradled in both hands. We ate in silence for a few minutes, the crackle from the stove and the wind outside filling the quiet. Finally, he said, "I used to wear a badge." I looked up. "Lawman?" I asked. "Marshal," he said. "A few towns over. Long time ago now." I studied his face. "What happened?" His jaw worked. "I started to care more about the people the badge should protect," he said slowly, "than about the men who paid me to wear it." He stared into his coffee like it held old ghosts. "Town council did not like me asking questions about certain friends of theirs, did not like me arresting certain names." "Dawson?" I whispered. "Men like him," he said. He took a sip of coffee. "One night a boy got killed in a crossfire between 2 men who should never have been armed. Council called it an accident. I called it murder." My chest tightened. "I kept pushing," he murmured. "They kept warning me off. I did not listen." He looked up at me. "They took my badge. Told me if I cared so much about people who could not pay their way, I could go live with 'em." His mouth tilted in a humorless smile. "So I did. Been floatin' from ranch to ranch ever since. Fixin' fences, watchin' skies, tryin' to keep my head down and my hands busy." He set his cup down. "Till tonight." My breath trembled. "Why tonight?" I asked. He held my gaze steadily. "Because I saw you walk out that back door alone," he said, "and I saw 3 wolves follow you. And I promised myself a long time ago that if I ever had the chance to step between another woman and men like that," he exhaled, "I would not stay seated at the bar." My throat tightened. "I do not know how to say thank you for that," I whispered. "You do not owe me thanks," he said. "You deserved better long before I showed up." We sat there, the weight of his story and mine hanging between us. "You askin' yourself if you made a mistake?" he said gently. "Leaving with me?" "Yes," I whispered. "And no." "Both can be true," he murmured. I let out a shaky laugh. "You talk like someone who has had more than a few mistakes." He huffed softly. "You're not wrong." Silence settled again, this time softer. After a while, he stood. "You take the bed tonight," he said. "I will sleep by the stove." My eyes widened. "I cannot do that. It is your bed?" "Exactly," he said. "That is why I know it is clean and safe. You need that more than I do." "But, Clara," his voice went low, firm, "you have spent enough nights sleepin' where men told you to. Tonight, you are gonna sleep where you are safe. That is here." Something deep inside me loosened. "You do not scare me," he added softly, "not even a little." Emotion burned behind my eyes. "Are you sure?" I whispered. His mouth tilted just barely. "Yeah," he murmured. "I am sure." The night deepened. The wind outside picked up, tapping branches lightly against the windows. The stove's warmth spread through the cabin, wrapping everything in a soft, sleepy heat. I stood near the corner, fingers brushing the edge of the quilt. "Do you need anything?" he asked from across the room. He was rolling out a thin bedroll near the stove, like this was the most normal thing in the world. "I do not have anything to sleep in," I admitted. "All my things are back at May's." He considered that. "I have got a shirt," he said, "clean enough." His eyes flicked away, respectful. "If you want something looser than that dress." My cheeks warmed. "That would be nice." He crossed to a small trunk and pulled out a soft-looking cotton shirt, worn at the seams, but clearly cared for. He did not bring it all the way to me. He stopped halfway, set it on the back of the chair, and stepped away again. "There," he said quietly, "you change. I will go see to the barn again." "You already checked the barn." "Yeah," he said. "Gives you more privacy this way." He tugged on his coat and stepped out into the night. I changed quickly, slipping out of the dress that still held the feel of Dawson's grip, trading it for Cole's shirt. It hung past mid-thigh, sleeves rolled up on my arms. His scent wrapped around me, cedar, leather, something warm and clean, too intimate. A voice in me whispered. Another voice answered, "Too late to go back now." When he came back in, he paused in the doorway. His eyes skated over me once, just once, no lingering, no hungry stare, just taking me in. He swallowed hard. "I can get you a blanket for the window," he said, voice a little rougher. "If you do not like folks seeing you that way, not that anybody's out here to see." "I am okay," I said softly. He nodded, then busied himself banking the stove, checking the latch on the door, the kind of quiet tasks a man does when he is trying to keep his hands busy. When he finally settled on the floor near the stove, he lay on his side, facing away from me. "You need anything in the night," he said. "You call my name. I mean that. I will." I crawled into his bed. The mattress was firm, but not uncomfortable. The pillow held the faint shape of his head. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the fire crackle and the wind hum, and his slow, steady breathing. Sleep did not come. Fear crept back in. What if Dawson rides out here with his men? What if Elias finds me? What if I have just painted a target on this quiet man's back? My chest tightened. My breathing turned shallow. Cole? I whispered. His voice came almost immediately. Yeah? I cannot calm down. I heard him shift. You having a hard time breathing? Yes? Can I come closer? He asked quietly, not on the bed, just closer, so you know you are not alone. My throat worked. Okay. I heard the rustle of blankets, the soft thud of his hand on the floor as he moved. He sat on the edge of the bed, leaving space between us. Sit up a little, he murmured. I did. The quilt fell around my waist. He did not touch me at first, just sat there, solid and steady. Match my breathing again, he said softly. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Slow. I tried. My breaths were shaky at first. He did not rush me, did not tell me to stop feeling. Just sat there, his presence like a fence between me and the wolves in my head. Can I touch your back? He asked after a moment. Just my hand, nothing else. Sometimes it helps. A trembling breath left me. Okay. His palm rested gently between my shoulder blades, warm, steady, not moving. My muscles slowly unclenched. My breath evened out. You are okay, he murmured. You are here. They are not. I am scared, I whispered. I know. What if they find us? We will deal with that if it comes, he said quietly. You are not facing them alone anymore. My eyes stung. You do not have to run alone anymore, he said again. A soft sob slipped out of me before I could stop it. He swallowed hard. Come here, he said softly. I turned toward him without thinking. He pulled me gently to his chest, one arm wrapping around my shoulders, the other braced behind him on the mattress to keep his weight off me. I pressed my face into his shirt. He smelled like smoke and night and something like home. His hand stroked my hair once, twice, 3 times. My breath caught. He froze. So did I. Is this all right? He whispered. Yes, I breathed. You are shaking. So are you, I answered. He let out a soft huff of breath that might have been a laugh, might have been a groan. Fair, he murmured. We stayed like that for a long moment. Slowly, carefully, he shifted until he sat higher on the bed, back against the wall, pulling me with him so I was curled against his chest. His legs stretched out along the edge of the mattress. I have got you, he whispered into my hair. Something inside me finally surrendered. We sat in silence, wrapped around each other, listening to the night. Cole? I asked softly. Yeah? Do I scare you? The crying, the fear, the running. He shook his head, his chin brushing my temple. You do not scare me, he said quietly. Not even a little. My breath trembled. You are more afraid of being too much, he murmured, than I am of you being anything at all. My eyes filled again. You do not have to be ashamed of wanting to be held, he said. Not with me. My heart squeezed so hard it hurt. I tipped my head back, looking up at him. He looked down at me and stilled. I saw the exact moment something shifted in his eyes. Want, care, restraint. A sharp inhale slipped from him. Clara, he whispered. Yeah. His hand cupped my cheek, thumb tracing a line along my skin. "If I touch you any longer," he murmured, voice breaking just a little, "I will not let you go tonight." My breath caught. Heat rushed through me. "I do not want you to let go," I whispered. He swallowed hard. "You sure?" "Yes." He rested his forehead against mine, breathing hard, like just holding himself together was work. "We go slow," he whispered. "We go careful. You tell me if anything feels wrong." "I will." He tilted my chin gently and kissed me. Soft, slow, feeling his way. My whole body trembled. He froze. So did I. "You okay?" he whispered against my lips. "Yes." He kissed me again, deeper this time. His hand slid into my hair, cradling my head, holding me like something precious, not fragile. His breath hitched. Mine did too. We stayed like that, sharing slow, aching kisses, his arms a shelter, my hands fisted in his shirt. When the night finally pulled us under, we let the night take the rest. He held me like I would never been held. We stayed wrapped around each other until first light. Morning came with gray clouds and a wind that smelled like rain. I woke with my cheek on his chest again, his arm heavy across my waist. For a moment, I just lay there, listening to his heartbeat, letting the warmth of his body settle me. Then reality crept in. Last night, the alley, the saloon, Dawson's threat, Elias. I stiffened. "You all right?" Cole murmured, half asleep. "I am. Thinking," I whispered. "Dangerous habit," he said, voice rough with sleep. I huffed a soft laugh. He tightened his arm gently. "You regret last night?" "No." The answer came faster than I expected. He relaxed. "Good," he whispered. "Me neither." We lay there a little longer, wrapped up in that fragile early morning calm. Then a sound split the air. Hoofbeats, distant at first, then closer, too many to be just a neighbor. Every muscle in Cole's body went taut. He shifted me gently off his chest and sat up, swinging his legs to the floor. His face shifted from soft to sharp in a heartbeat. "Get dressed," he said quietly. Fear shot through me. "Is it? Do not know yet," he murmured. "Could be nothin', could be somethin'. Either way, I would rather you not be in my shirt when they ride up." I scrambled for my dress while he pulled on his boots and coat, checked his gun, grabbed his hat. His movements were efficient. No wasted motion, no panic. "You hide if I tell you to hide," he said, voice low. "No arguing." "Where?" He nodded toward a small pantry door. "Back there. There is a crawl space. You stay quiet until you hear my voice call you out." My heart hammered. What if it is them? He looked at me, steady and unflinching. "Then we face it together now," he said. "But I still want you where they cannot grab you easy." My throat closed. He stepped close, hands framing my face for a brief, fierce second. "You are safe with me," he murmured. "I mean it." Then he was gone, out the door, closing it behind him. I moved to the small window, peeking from the side, so I would not be seen easily. 3 men rode into the yard. One I recognized, Dawson. The other 2 wore dusters and hats pulled low over hard faces. Hired guns, not town drunks, the kind of men who got paid to solve problems with bullets. Cole stood on the porch, hands at his sides, not near his bun, but close enough. "Morning," he called out, voice calm. Dawson dismounted with a smirk. Told you it was not over, friend. Morning, Dawson, Cole said. Morning came with gray clouds and a wind that smelled like rain. I woke with my cheek on his chest again, his arm heavy across my waist. For a moment, I just lay there, listening to his heartbeat, letting the warmth of his body settle me. Then reality crept in. Last night, the alley, the saloon, Dawson's threat, Elias. I stiffened. You all right? Cole murmured, half asleep. I am. Thinking, I whispered. Dangerous habit, he said, voice rough with sleep. I huffed a soft laugh. He tightened his arm gently. You regret last night? No. The answer came faster than I expected. He relaxed. Good, he whispered. Me neither. We lay there a little longer, wrapped up in that fragile early morning calm. Then a sound split the air. Hoofbeats, distant at first, then closer, too many to be just a neighbor. Every muscle in Cole's body went taut. He shifted me gently off his chest and sat up, swinging his legs to the floor. His face shifted from soft to sharp in a heartbeat. Get dressed, he said quietly. Fear shot through me. Is it? Do not know yet, he murmured. Could be nothin', could be somethin'. Either way, I would rather you not be in my shirt when they ride up. I scrambled from my dress while he pulled on his boots and coat, checked his gun, grabbed his hat. His movements were efficient. No wasted motion, no panic. You hide if I tell you to hide, he said, voice low. No arguing. Where? He nodded toward a small pantry door. Back there. There is a crawl space. You stay quiet until you hear my voice call you out. My heart hammered. What if it is them? He looked at me, steady and unflinching. Then we face it together now, he said. But I still want you where they cannot grab you easy. My throat closed. He stepped close, hands framing my face for a brief, fierce second. You are safe with me, he murmured. I mean it. Then he was gone, out the door, closing it behind him. I moved to the small window, peeking from the side, so I would not be seen easily. 3 men rode into the yard. One I recognized, Dawson. The other 2 wore dusters and hats pulled low over hard faces. Hired guns, not town drunks, the kind of men who got paid to solve problems with bullets. Cole stood on the porch, hands at his sides, not near his gun, but close enough. Morning, he called out, voice calm. Dawson dismounted with a smirk. Told you it was not over, friend. Morning, Dawson, Cole said. Balson's eyes darkened. Last chance, Mercer. Step aside, and we leave you with your blood still inside you. Cole's voice was quiet when he answered. I am here, he said. I am not going anywhere. Then, everything happened at once. Dawson's hand dropped toward his gun. One of the hired guns shifted in the saddle. The other leaned forward. Cole moved. His hand went to his own gun, faster than I thought a human could move. The crack of the shot split the air. One of the hired guns yelled, clutching his shoulder, his gun flying from his grip. The second gunman drew. Cole shoved me back behind the doorframe with one arm and fired again. The man's hat flew off as the bullet grazed past. His horse reared, throwing him off into the dust. Dawson fired wild, cursing. The bullet hit the porch rail, splintering wood inches from Cole's leg. My scream stuck in my throat. Stay down, Cole barked. I dropped behind the door frame, heart pounding, hands over my head. Gunfire roared again. A horse screamed. Someone cursed. Someone grunted. Then, silence. My breath raced. "Cole," I whispered. "Cole!" His voice came, a little breathless but steady. "I am here." I scrambled up, peeking around the door. One hired gun lay groaning in the dirt, clutching his shoulder. The other had staggered to his feet, holding his head, eyes wild. Dawson sat on the ground, one leg twisted at an odd angle, gun on the dirt, out of reach, fury burning in his eyes. Cole stood on the porch, chest heaving, gun still in his hand, eyes hard. "We are done here," he said. Dawson spat. "You think this is over? Oh, no it is," Cole said. "You and your boys ride back to town. You tell Sheriff Briggs if he wants to side with trash like you, he can come himself next time. But he better bring a preacher, because it will be the last service he sees." The uninjured gunman helped Dawson to his feet, grumbling curses. They half dragged, half supported each other back to their horses. Dawson glared at me. "This is not over," he snarled. Cole raised his gun. Dawson swallowed his next words and mounted awkwardly. They rode off, dust rising behind them. When they were finally small on the horizon, Cole lowered his gun and turned to me. His face shifted from stone to worry in a heartbeat. "You okay?" he asked, stepping toward me. My breath broke. I nodded, then shook my head, then nodded again. He reached for me, then stopped, hand hovering. "Can I?" he asked. "Yes." He pulled me into his chest, arms banding around me. I pressed my face against his shirt and finally let the sobs out. He held me steady. "I have got you," he whispered. "You are safe. You are safe with me." We stayed there on the porch for a long time. My tears slowed. My breath settled. His hand moved in slow circles on my back, grounding me. When I finally pulled back, my eyes were swollen, my throat raw. "I am sorry," I whispered. "For what?" he asked. "For dragging this trouble to your door." He shook his head. "You did not drag it," he said. "Men like that go looking for people to hurt. You just happened to be where they found. That is not on you." My chest ached. "I have been running so long," I whispered, "from Elias, from men like Dawson, from every place that did not feel safe." He nodded. "I don't know how to stop," I admitted. "I do not know how to. Stay." He looked at me with that steady, quiet intensity that had become familiar. "We do not have to figure the whole rest of your life out today," he said. "We just decide one thing at a time." "Like what?" "Like this," he said softly. "Do you want to stay here for a while, on this land, with me?" My breath caught. "What if Dawson comes back?" I asked. "What if Elias finds me?" "Then we deal with it," he said simply. "Together." He reached up, brushing a strand of hair from my face, his thumb lingering at my temple. "We face it together now." My eyes filled again. "You want to face it with me?" I whispered. "Even after all this?" He smiled, small and real and a little sad. "Clara," he said, "I have been walking through this world alone for a long time, fixing other people's fences, chasing other people's storms. You think I am gonna turn away from the first good, brave woman I meet just because there is trouble attached? You think I am good?" I asked softly. "I know you are," he said. You are soft-hearted, and you are scared, and you are still standin'. That is more than most can say. He kipped his forehead mine. You are brave even when you are trembling, he murmured. I would ride with a woman like that any day. My breath trembled. I am not easy, I whispered. I cry. I panic. I get afraid. I overthink. He nodded. Okay. I do not know how to be loved without feeling like I am losing myself. We will learn slow, he said. You tell me when something feels like losing you instead of finding you, and we pull back. My voice cracked. You really want all that? I asked. The mess and the fear and the ugly parts. He smiled very softly. You do not scare me, he said again. Not even a little. A laugh-sob escaped me. He kissed my forehead, lingering there. If you are here, he whispered, I am here. He pulled back just enough to see my eyes. Do you want me here? He asked. I looked past him for a moment, at the cabin, the barn, the fields rolling out toward the horizon. I pictured mornings like this one, without gunmen in the yard. Afternoons spent mending fence, side by side, evenings by the stove, nights in his arms, a future I had not let myself imagine in a long, long time. Yes, I whispered, I want you here. His breath caught. I reached for his hand, lacing my fingers with his. I want to stay, I said, on this ranch, with you, for as long as you will have me. He squeezed my hand. We have got time, he said softly. All the time we need. He drew me closer, wrapping his arm around my waist. The wind shifted, carrying the smell of rain and earth and horses. You are my home, I whispered before I could stop myself. He stilled. Then his arms tightened. You are mine, he murmured against my hair. My home, my heart, my trouble. I will take all of it. Tears slid silently down my cheeks, soft this time, grateful. He pressed a slow, deep kiss to my lips, warm, sure, safe. When he pulled back, he rested his forehead to mine. I am here, he said. I am not going anywhere. I believed him. We stood on that porch until the first drops of rain began to fall, the prairie stretching wide around us, the sky rolling with distant thunder. The danger had not vanished from the world. Men like Dawson and Elias and Sheriff Briggs still existed, but I was no longer facing them alone. We turned and walked back into the cabin, hand in hand, the door closing softly behind us. We faced it together now, and for the first time in a long time, I felt warm and safe and held. We were together now.